Okay, we are up. We are live. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well tonight. Welcome to Tabletop Treasure Hunters. We've got kind of a special episode tonight. For those who have not been keeping up, Tabletop Treasure Hunters is our Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign with the twist of we have two parties that are playing in this campaign. They're competing against each other for the most wealth on the different jobs that they scout and they draft. Definitely recommend catching up on it. We're nearing the end of our first season here. Now I will get out of the way that Pathfinder 2nd Edition, along with the World of Golarion, the rule set, many of the deities, abilities, classes, races, etc. that we might mention today are owned by Paizo. So thank you, Paizo. We've been enjoying your game very, very much. And I think we're going to start off by going around introducing players. I will say the session tonight, just so you know, chat, is that we're doing kind of just a discussion panel. We have just a few episodes left in the season. We may not see some of these players for another session, so this could be their last sign-off for the season, depending on how things go. If you guys have questions for the players that you want to talk about, either about their characters themselves, the season, just hit us up with questions. Let's go ahead and introduce players. Let's start with you, Jason, and then we'll kind of go around and come back to me.
Okay. Hello, I'm Jason. I play Reiklin Darkreach. He is the leader of the Goldbloods. Sadly, the other members of our party couldn't be here, so I'm the only representative for that party. I'll try and do my best to cover anything that is directed at our cohorts. We've been having a lot of fun, and just the season's coming to a close. It's kind of sad, but we've definitely enjoyed a lot of the sessions.
Awesome. Erica.
I am Erica, and I play Faithy, and I'm just really excited to see how this is all gonna go. This has been my first full session of RPG, and I've really loved it.
Like a whole campaign? That's right. That is really
my first full campaign ever.
Went by so fast.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
All right, Em.
I'm Em, known on the internet as Anthrama in a lot of places. You see me here every other Tuesday. Mondays, I stream video games over with Of Dice and Dames. Check out our Facebook page.
That too.
Yeah, I got a couple other people in that. I also stream Wednesday night over on YouTube with Adept Icarus. They're doing kind of like a how to play their game Arium, which is super awesome, especially if you like world building. So you can go check out that YouTube if you're interested. And I also do Pendragon on Thursdays with Brambleberry Games on Twitch, which is pretty fun. I've been playing Lucy, who is a human barbarian monk, and she has been a lot of fun, and I'm definitely going to miss her when this all ends.
All right, Kim.
I'm Kim. I mainly just stream with Wholesome. And there's not much other streaming I do. I play Gordon Darkwood, the lovely Leshy cleric druid that is afraid of everything all the time. Dad's had a ton of fun with this entire season, and really just excited to see how the rest of it's going to play out.
And I will say for Kim has also done a majority of the design work for this season, so I appreciate that super much. She's been doing a lot of the frames and all of that stuff, which has been super helpful because I'm not very good at it, so. All right, Katie.
I'm Katie. I play Finley, the leader of the League of the Hunt side.
Wow.
I've
Okay.
played...
Traitor.
Not anymore.
Promoted.
No, there's been no subplot going on that I've been talking to Chase about. That would be awkward to reveal right now. The League, she is a elf rogue with a little bit of bard in her that has been letting her down so much.
There's bard in there?
There is her perform. That's why a couple of her stats are so off the chart. But
she casts shield a lot. That's the most bard thing she's done.
Basically, I am on the internet as Winchester Dava or just Winchester. I stream with Of Dice and Dames and M, and in that Wednesday stream tomorrow. So check that out. It's super cool. I'm so excited for it. Yeah, that's
It's Dusters and Dragons. We're doing a dragon cowboy hybrid.
So come check it out and see if for the cowboys or the dragons, I can do a hook right.
Have to admit, I'm certainly curious. So,
I mean,
Yep,
those are
indeed.
two of the coolest things. So
Right?
Absolutely.
pretty awesome. Yeah, I am Chase. I go by Wholesome Dad Gamer on the internet. This is my channel. This campaign has been my first homebrew creation that I've ever run. Though I cannot take all the credit. I've had tons of contributions from the players, from viewers, from people helping me test things to bouncing ideas off of and throwing ideas in. So it's been really awesome. Sad to see the season coming to a close, but excited because we are officially doing a season 2. So that'll be very fun. I'm excited to try to up our production quality, kind of clean things up. We've got some fun new ideas. And yes, that's us, everybody. So as Jason already mentioned, we tried to have the whole cast on, but we couldn't get a few people for tonight. Surprise, surprise, it's hard to get 9 people together at the same time for a role-playing game. All of us being adults with lives. It's tough.
Shocking.
Right?
Yeah.
But we've got at least both guilds being represented here tonight. Reiklin will just be representing the Gold Blood questions. And this is just kind of a hangout, guys. So we've got a bunch of questions prepared, but we would really like to hear from you guys, chat. So if you guys have questions or things you want to talk about, definitely hit us up. It looks like Wade's got a question we'll get to in a minute. And Toby, hello, sir. Glad to see you here. And also if we don't have any of the stream interactions really turned on tonight, aside from chatting, but the normal things like shares for hero points, we got nothing to do with hero points tonight. So those aren't really anything. A lot of the star rewards are actually coming to an end since we only have a couple episodes left. I don't like to have things dropped on the players, big game changing in the middle of the session. So mercenaries and assassins are turned off as of last session was the deadline for those. But if you guys want to still like the stream and call out which guild you'd like to support, the guilds will still be getting a little bit of extra income for the likes. And boy, are they close in gold. I was going to discuss this with them kind of while we were setting up, but they said I should talk about it on stream, so I will. After doing the math, League of the Hunt is 800 gold ahead, which is a tiny margin for the level that we're at. So it's like
thin.
it's very neck and neck. And that's when I say 800 ahead, I'm going like overall value, considering if they were to sell everything and the Gold Bloods were to sell everything and they were to donate everything, that's the terms we're talking in. So it's a little more complex than that, but it's
selling
close.
everything is probably a bad idea.
Yeah. The general idea how this is going to end is there's going to be so we've got a gauntlet session, which I'll talk more about at the end of this discussion, but there's one more session where both guilds are going to be sending 2 people each. There's going to be a big gold swing possible in that last session. And then after that, there is going to be a blind auction of their gear where they're going to secretly each send me a list of stuff they want to donate to try to pull ahead. After that, everything is closed. We total it up, and then the winner is going to go into the finale, which is going to be a very dangerous dungeon. And they haven't won until they survive the dungeon, so they're going to have to balance how much stuff do we donate to try to win without going in there naked and unprepared for a dangerous encounter. So should be pretty fun. Anyways, so that's my spiel about what's going on, guys. So let's talk about questions, guys. Let's start with we'll just kind of take chat questions as they come in, and then if we have a gap in chat questions, we will
Filler.
Yeah, we have questions prepared. So and for these questions, we're just going to go around table. Unless they're directed specifically at somebody, we're going to have everybody answer them. So Wade's question is, if you could change one moment for your character this season, what would it be? We'll start with you, Katie, and then go around.
I know what mine is.
Okay.
So Katie's not prepared. I can go because she made a face.
No, I mean, I have my answer.
Okay, go ahead.
It's every time Wade has shared the stream to save Finley. No.
Whoa!
I don't know that there's a moment that I would actually change for Finley. Even with all of the bad rolls that have happened with her stats being what they are. I like the random happenstance of failure and being able to go off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So moments to change, I don't have any because for the story.
What about role playing? Like, has there ever been a moment where you thought that you did something that was out of your character, or that you were? Well, I can't say regret because that's something else, right?
True.
Because everybody can make decisions that they regret or their character regrets. But is there anything that you feel like you made a decision on that wasn't Finley?
I have to think about that. That wasn't Finley.
It's a good one.
I'll think about it.
I think that's good. I think it means you've
Actually.
role played good to have to think about it.
Yeah.
You're not like
I-
me, like, oh yeah.
Congratulations, you did great.
No, all right. What about you, Kim?
Speaking clearly for Gordon, every single mission we've gone on was a mistake. We were all gonna die. It was no, I can't really think of anything. I mean, better roles would have been nice. Not getting frozen by Medusas 9,000 times would have been nice. But yeah, like I think a lot of the things that have happened either due to roles or just the way they played out made it a very unique and good experience to watch, even if they were like coming down to the wire on stressful times.
I don't think there's ever been a session where where chat has saved people more than the Medusa session.
Wow, that was.
I think you guys got like at least 20 hero points that session, and you
Ooh,
used
that
like
was
all of
So
them.
many.
That should have been Finley's
It should have been all of our
death.
deaths.
Yeah.
We should have all died that session. That was pain.
I mean, your
Mhm.
guild leader technically died, and
Was like,
yeah.
hey.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's rather intense.
What about you, Em?
So do you guys remember the session with the red dragon?
Yes.
I wish that I had played when the dragon died more true to Lucy, because that was a really intense emotional moment for her. And
Taking out one of your ancestors.
yeah, so she has dragon blood in her, and it's always been like this huge conflict with her. Like, she was taken away from her family at a young age because she was breathing fire and destroying their homes, right? So she was put in a monastery to like learn how to control herself. And so that's why she always struggles with the control. And then when she gets into combat, she like lets loose and like her wild side comes out. And after defeating the dragon, she kind of became more like, it was really difficult for her, but she also got like more peace with like, okay, well, this is what I am and I have to embrace that, whatever. And so she's kind of leaned more into that wild side since then. But I wish she'd had a moment of realization on camera that like she had like demonized this presence for so long, and she metaphorically killed it, physically killed it, literally.
Yeah, would
Yeah.
definitely be an interesting exploration into the psyche, right? Like, how is
Yes.
she affected by this?
Yes.
It's like you have just attained a very solid piece of revenge. How does it feel, right? That's always an interesting thing that is explored in a lot of movies and books and stuff.
She didn't have the satisfaction that she thought she was going to, and that kind of had to provoke her going into accepting herself to who she is, because she didn't have this thing filling that space that she thought it was going to.
Just out of curiosity, so Lucy's part barbarian, right?
Yep.
What dragon does she like? I assume she's got a vice against dragons and not an admiration for them, right?
Yes. So it was red dragons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fitting, very fitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one for her.
Yeah.
All right, Erica, what about you?
I think most of it was just role playing for me. Like this, it's not really any like regrets or something I'd wish I had done. I think it was all worth learning from, but like establishing Faithy's personality sooner for me, she kept evolving throughout the first several episodes, and for like the past like maybe 3 or 4, I kind of really understood her, and I kind of wish I had been able to understand her sooner. But it was also just simply a really good thing to learn, was how to get to know my character, because this really is the first full thing I've ever done. So it's really good learning, and I've actually been doing it's a 30-day character creation where you have 30 days and it gives you different prompts to do each day on how to build a character, build the background. So I've been doing a couple of those just to get to know a character before, like, if we go back and do this again end of the year, then I'll already know a character already and not have to go through that hopefully that much again.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
What about for you, Jason?
Well, mine's pretty obvious. And this was a decision that I made. The rest of the guild did not make this decision. I just made it in the moment and just not paying attention. And that is, the very first mission that we chose was actually the more difficult mission. We were all starting at level 3, and we saw the scouting information. We saw that the first mission that we probably should have stuck with was the retrieving the reagents, meeting Rizeki, and that was the level 3 mission. The other mission was actually a level 4 mission, the river barge escort, and I just didn't pay attention to it. And I looked at that one and thought, let's get the escort mission out of the way first, because that one's, nobody likes an escort mission.
Yes, thank you.
So
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of unluck if you guys went very first, so it was kind of
audibly gasped when I saw like that first hit coming in. I was oh
yeah,
that was so scary.
Especially at the lower levels, the level difference is a pretty big deal. But
yeah.
I mean, hey,
Yeah,
you guys have clawed your way out of that deficit, so
yeah, sure. I would say that the deficit of 800 is probably close to what we probably lost in that. Theoretically, I think it was more like 300 or 400, but yeah.
Yeah, some cascade effects though as well.
Yeah. But I mean, we had a discussion on that. We decided that, if there was ever a mission that you just flat out failed, it's probably good to fail one of the first ones, because the amount of reward that you miss out on is significantly smaller than at later level.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if there's one thing I could change about my character as the DM, it would be to not roll like such a jerk.
All the time, man.
Oh my gosh, Roll20 had really something against us these
And
last,
it's always
like,
the
3
boss
sessions.
fights too.
I
The
don't
boss
know
fights are the worst.
what affinity, like what sacrifice did you make to the dice gods? Like
I would
it's not just for anybody watching this, it's not just Roll20 that hates us. Anytime you play any game with Chase here, you will not ever roll good, and he will roll like a god, and you will be sad.
As the wife, can I answer this? He has sacrificed all other luck and taken a serious debuff to his dexterity. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and say.
I do have
His
some
real
more
life
dexterity.
dexterity, is that what you're
He
saying?
has
yeah.
real life
yeah.
dexterity.
He's a klutz, is that what we're saying?
Oh man, it's like every time you stand up, there's a drink on the floor. It's incredible.
I
Like,
can't even
didn't
blame it on
know
my
a
kids
drink-
anymore because everybody knows.
Yeah,
Like it's like a joke that he's a druid because he's really great with animals and all that, but like worst druid ever because wisdom score, perception, all that's so low, and like dexterity so low.
but man, his charisma is like a 28.
It's
Yeah.
Pretty
good.
fantastic.
Good.
Look at that cute face.
Ah,
Toby, by the
shucks.
way, on the chat says he disagrees.
Aw.
He's disagreeing
Aw.
with the dexterity or something.
Thanks, Toby.
Mm.
So before we take another question, a couple things just to announce. I said already we've confirmed season 2. The plan for season 2 happening is going to be for the beginning of August 2020. So if everything goes to plan, we will start it then. It'll give us some time to up the production value, plan things out. Exciting, if there's no delays, we will have the advanced players guide with some new races and classes for next season, which will be super exciting. Oh, Toby says no with the dice roll, so yeah, he can't even argue with my dexterity. It's So season 2 then. I feel like I had one more announcement, but I totally forgot it. So we'll move on for there. Somebody asked me earlier also about these flags that we have down here. So it hasn't become obvious watching the different episodes. The green flag there is the emblem for the League of the Hunt. The gold one there is for the Gold Bloods. And then we've only had this blue one a couple of times. That's actually the symbol we have for the First World Fortune Seekers Alliance, which is kind of the alliance of these guilds. They are competing for a similar goal, but they are actually part of the same alliance. So that's what those are. What I was going to say about season 2 is if anybody's interested in applying for playing in season 2, I am taking applications. Just send me your interest to wholesomedadgamer@gmail.com. If you express interest, I will send you a survey to take, and it's a whole thing. But I have had people ask how they can apply to be in Tabletop Treasure Hunters, so that is how. Send me an email, and we'll take a look at it.
I have a couple people who have expressed interest, so I'm going to message them that right now.
Sweet.
There you go. All right, so the next question we had up from chat was from Toby, and it was, what was your favorite job? Man, that's a tough one, so I'm going to not start. I'm going to make Katie start. I made you start last time. I'll make Jason start.
All right, because I actually saw this question and thought about it.
Oh,
right.
Nice.
My favorite is probably the same favorite as because I'm trying to speak for my guild, and I think that Alex playing Sapisto would also share this, and that is the second mission that should have been our first mission, the fetching all of the reagents and stuff. That was where Sapisto got to shine in one of the many different antics that Sapisto does, and Sapisto got to grab hold of that mushroom and bite into it just before it teleported, and there was a lot of fun in there, and Sapisto had a lot of fun in that. I certainly enjoyed it. It was definitely one of those missions where I felt like what we were doing was kind of gathering ingredients is not something that you think of, oh, this is going to be a wonderful adventure for a bunch of diehard killers and stuff, right? But it was a lot of fun. Each of the different tasks was very unique, and overall I really enjoyed that. That's also, I feel like, where our party started to cohere and start to understand what all of our abilities were for each other. So Rizeki was a particular interesting character there. It's too bad we didn't experience all that the very, very first time. Who knows what would have happened on the barge if Sapisto started acting like a cat person.
Who knows?
Would have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe she could have talked down the Cyclopses. You never know.
Yeah. And then trying to speak for the other two, Zarias, I think that, gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Dalton. I think Dalton shined quite a bit in the assassination mission with the orcs. Being able to use the different spells at his disposal, invisibility and that kind of stuff, really helped. And I don't know if that was the mission that he enjoyed the most, but I think that was where I think Zarias was able to really bring all of the abilities to bear. Even used his fists a few times in there against the boss fight. So, and then Lady Regina. Let's see. I'll have to think about hers. Go ahead and go around.
We'll come back to you for Regina at the end.
Yeah. Incidentally, it looks like I saw Tane posted a question. So Tane is paying attention. So maybe Tane can give us some feedback in what your answer would be for this question.
There you go. All right. While we wait for that, how about you, Erica?
So actually, my favorite, I do have a favorite that's ours, but the one I want to talk about was one of the very beginning ones of the Gold Bloods. I think it was when it was like, I don't remember if it was the very first one or like the second one where you guys were like on a barge and like kind of a swampy area. And right after that, we were like, guys, we're so going to win this. And then like just continually after that, you guys just got better and better and better. We're like, oh, we have some real competition. Like, this is great. So I was very impressed that you guys just like skyrocketed. I was very happy. But it was fun to, like, we kind of stroked our egos a little bit, being like, guys, we're so gonna win this. And now it's so neck and neck. I'm like, I was so stupid to underestimate you guys.
Cannot
Not a competition
underestimate
if
those
there's no
Goldbloods.
competition, right?
Yeah, but it still felt good for a few seconds.
Mm.
That was one of my favorite things.
Nice. What about you, Em?
Okay, I've been scrolling over here on the screen, like, oh man, which one was my favorite? And there were so many good points from so many different episodes. So, but there's two that I really want to point out. The first one was the undead mixed session, where it was Lucy, Finley, Reichland, and Sepisto. Holy crap, that fighting combination against the endless waves of undead, that was pretty awesome. That was really cool. Like, there's the synergy and the two enemies working together. It was just, I really loved that. I came out of that session, I was like, that was so cool.
Lucy got hooked on the haste spell.
Oh, Finley got hooked on the haste spell. She was just like, that was cool. And then I think second favor to that, I was actually super jealous that you guys got this job, but the crypt job, I was cracking up like the whole time. Oh man. And just, I don't know if it would have been the same because Sepisto had that special bond.
So you're talking about the desert crypt, not the
Yes.
family
The
crypt,
desert
The
right?
crypt.
desert crypt, sorry, Wholesome. Yeah, the desert crypt. But Sepisto had that special bond that I don't know if we could have matched that, but man, that was a good job, guys. That's probably what I would say.
You're right, Gnome. Somebody is missing a beard.
And looking good.
It's me. All right, what about you, Kim?
I have so many.
Difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult. I think probably highlights, if we go character specific, the crypt job that we did, where we ran into and recruited our lovely summoner friend, Summoner? Is that what she is?
Necromancer.
Oh, Necromancer, yeah. Kara. That was disgusting at the end of it, but it was a lot of fun. But between that and the Medusa, as stressful as that was, the Medusa job was quite great to see the ending of it, just because of giant skeletons coming out of the ground. And it's just a lot of fun to do and be able to roleplay different scenarios, stuff like that. And then I just gotta give a shout out to Tori, who we played with last week. That session was so much fun, and Deary was so much fun, and just all the endings of that session.
Yes.
Were so much fun, spending 5,000 gold on an illusory dragon. There's too many fun moments to list.
Awesome. What about you, Katie?
Man, it's the same as M on the combined session.
Right?
It was so, like, M can vouch for me. Like, I was hype afterward too. I was like, oh my god, that was so much fun. That was just like, the synergy was so great. Like, everyone just worked together so well. So that one, I mean, I know it wasn't a job, but that's definitely my top. As far as the
I feel like that was the first session when Finley had like the buffs to her sword, and so she was just killing everything.
yeah,
And I had just gotten access to that tangled forest stance, and so I was actually able to stop things from getting to the squishies.
yeah,
And maybe it was just the feeling of like that new step in power, but I really felt like it was the synergy between the groups with Sepisto's spells. And yeah, sorry, I just
Alex
jumped
says
right
haste
in.
crack. Absolutely,
Yeah.
Alex.
Yes!
Haste crack.
Yes!
Finley still wants more, so she's gonna be talking to Sepisto at some point. But there's two other jobs that come to mind too. The crypt one that we did. Simply because Finley was so proud of herself for being right that it was a sloppy necromancer, and she totally just threw it out there. I didn't know. She just threw it out there that there was some sloppy necromancer down here.
Oh, you were so right.
And it kind of ended up being right. And she was very proud of herself for that. And then I have to say the session that Wade did. I'm going to give a shout out to Wade. I had feels at the end with the brothers. So that anything that gives me feels, I automatically love so much. So the session that we did with Wade was definitely in my top for the twists in it. It was so fun.
I tear up too easy. That one was rough for me.
I was like,
I will not tear up on stream, and I had to go like stone face at the end.
I can't show emotion.
Yeah.
So it looks like Regina came in saying that her favorite was probably the assassination, especially with her stunning singing performance, where she kind of
She rolled a critical. She
Yeah.
rolled a critical on the
That's awesome.
perform and held like the 2 trolls and a couple of orcs, and held their attention for like, gosh, it must have been like 12 rounds.
It was pretty much like Reiklin and Reiklin was in prison with Regina, right?
Yep, he was there, and yep.
And then she performed while Sapisto and Zarias did all these antics in the background, and it was pretty good. She also said she enjoyed ass kicking at the festival, where she tricked everyone to thinking she was an old and frail until she won her competition, where she all of a sudden was this crazy, strong old lady.
I really wanted the festival.
So for mine, now I have to say that I loved doing all of the guest sessions just because it was so fun to collaborate with all those other people, kind of put our minds together, and they created some super awesome sessions. So it was kind of fun to, I almost took a back seat on those ones and just kind of like let their characters drive them, and that was super fun. My favorite session that I wrote was probably the Enchanted Woods for the Gold Bloods, just because I love Rizeki. She's my favorite NPC I put in this season, and I think that session had some fun, crazy role-playing antics, and I think it had a good balance of role-playing and combat. But I think the things I'm most happy with that worked out for the season, that I am just very proud of because it's kind of a core of this thing that we're doing, is I've loved all the job drafts. I think they've been super unique and fun. It's been super fun to see you guys role play and do your little bidding wars, and it's interesting to see your guys' tactics for the scouting and how you guys are picking jobs. So that's been super fun to watch. All right. I think we had another question.
We did just get an answer from Zarias. He actually enjoyed the Enchanted Woods as well.
Yes.
Also loved the moment when we were doing the competition at the festival and Zarias just barely pulled out the win in the arena. Him striking a crane pose with the dancing lights in the form of birds is the moment that stuck with him. Yeah.
Aw.
That was super cool.
Rizeki must be in season 2.
She hasn't died yet, so
It's
he
true.
said yes.
Oh,
I mean, let's
I
be
don't like
honest.
that you said
She
yet.
doesn't probably have a good odds for quality of life with the things she gets into, but
Rizeki's actually the final boss of this entire.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's
She's just
twist.
over there nervously sweating.
oh no, they figured it out.
My master plan.
So the question was from Tane, directed at Reiklin, and it is, what does Reiklin think by the amount of dead husbands that Regina has?
Asked
Great
by
question.
the person who is playing that character.
Yes.
So it's interesting. Whenever you don't talk too much about what do you call it, romances amongst characters, but like Reiklin's kind of a guy in his 40s, and she's up there a bit further than that. But he has to just ask himself, how old were some of these husbands? And he's kind of nervous, honestly. Like whenever you get around a lady who's had quite a few husbands like that, you kind of worry. All right, does she have her eye on me? Do I need to worry? That kind of thing. So I think that Reiklin, he welcomes her into the party, but he tries to stay his distance for anything that might remotely look like he's romantically interested.
Did she feed one of her husbands to a lion?
Wouldn't
Tight.
doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it.
He said, anyone else can answer too. Does anybody else have thoughts on Regina's dead husbands?
Oh, I just
Lucy
gave my
thinks
thought.
Lucy thinks that Regina is lying. She is like, there's not enough time in a single human lifetime to find that many people who will love you. And not her specifically, but like any individual person, unless they're insanely rich, can't find enough people that are gonna be like, yeah, let's sign a contract binding us together. Like, she's like, there's no way. Impossible.
Yeah, Finley's looking at her elven age of much older and
Still, there ain't no ring on that finger.
Maybe she's
no
a werewolf.
ring. Ooh, it would not have anything to do with her antics. It's everyone else that's wrong, not her.
So we have let's see.
Two-part question.
Two-part question.
We have a
for you.
two-part question. Yes. What is your favorite thing about 2E that is different from 1E, and what is something that you miss from 1E?
I'm gonna
yeah,
throw
go
it in
for
right
it.
now.
Go for it.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
The absence or seeming absence of attacks of opportunity. Like, I cannot tell you how many characters I've had that died or almost died from a critical attack of opportunity because my character needed to be somewhere else, and I said, all right, I'll just take the attack of opportunity. I'll probably take some damage. It's such a quagmire playing in first edition. And not having to worry about that, especially when you're a spellcaster, is so relieving.
mm-hmm.
That's
a good one.
Yeah.
oh.
Go for it, Kim.
Popcorn it.
Oh man, 2E is so good, and it makes me cry every time I think about creating a character because I'm like, this is gonna take me like 20 minutes and not like 2 hours. So that's my favorite part of 2E. But I super miss kineticists, and they'll never be re-invited to 2E because they're just too broken.
They were
They were
so broken.
very broken. Yes.
So broke.
Or they'll just remake them and
Less
More
broken.
balanced. I would love that because they were a cool flavor.
Yeah. in
So-
theory.
Erica,
I'll
you
sit
never
this one out.
Yeah, you
'cause
never
I didn't
played
play
1E,
it,
right?
so I'll
But-
just chill here.
What's something you've enjoyed about Pathfinder 2E? How about that,
Oh.
Erica?
You have played a wide variety of games being on the Codex Cast.
That is true. Something I dislike and like is that there weren't cat folk, and now there is, and I'm very happy about that.
Can't wait for the advanced players guide.
Yeah, so I'm very
Yes.
excited.
there will be no humans in the parties
No, I will never
for a
play
long time.
anything other than an animal from here on out. Honestly, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm just excited to explore the cat folk more because I played that on the Codex Cast, and that was like my thing, and so I'm very excited to bring that.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Em?
Oh man, I really like the 3-action combat system. I feel like it makes combat a lot more fluid. Like, I mean, the attack of opportunity is just so great. I'm trying to think of something different. I know that we've kind of been playing that way already for a while, but I think that was one of the biggest changes over from 1E to 2E was how much more fluid their combat got, and it's way less grindy, and I feel like the math works out a lot smoother now, just the way it is. What do I miss about 1E? I really miss their grapple system. It was just clean.
You miss having a flow chart for
Yeah.
grappling.
My flow chart. I'm totally messing. The grapple system was the worst. I guess I miss their variety, and I know they're going to get there, but I can imagine anything that I wanted to play, and I could go to 1E and I could take 2 hours and make that character. But with 2E, it's so much easier to build my character out to level 20 and just be ready to go for the next level.
Awesome. What about you, Katie?
I like that I don't have to say, hey, Chase, what feat should I take at this level?
Out of the 2,000 or so feat options.
I mean, yeah, that would be part of it. But with the 3-action system, I like the fluidity. I like there's more realism in it that I can, if I'm standing at an enemy, or what I can do is I can walk up, I can hit, and I can walk away again in a more realistic fashion, because no idiot in their right mind is going to sit there, critically hit something and go, let me have it right now in my face, right?
Yeah.
Like, unless you're the barbarian, which, yeah, then you're going to stand there and scream at it.
So
But-
the drive-by guy.
Yeah, but there's more tactics to it instead of just, all right, 6 party members are going to crowd around this guy and not move because of the attacks of opportunity that you have, or things like that. So I enjoy that Tui has brought a realism to it, especially in also the wounds as well, like getting hurt. One thing that drives me nuts, I'm just gonna kick everything over in my office. One thing that drives me nuts is when magic can fix everything. I actually really hate that, like, a lot. I want there to be like lasting effects or consequences for being in a big fight. So the fact that Tui brings that in is great. I think I do miss the variety too that 1E had of I can search a feat that I want to do this and I'll probably find that feat. But it's new, so it'll get there.
So, sorry to interrupt.
I'm done.
If I'm interrupting.
No.
I didn't get to say what I miss, and Dalton coined something that he misses as well. So one thing I do miss is different kinds of combat effects in combat. And, you know, I know they've tried to streamline a lot of things, and basically everything's just flat-footed or just has a -2 penalty if it's either knocked down or if you've got the flank bonus, all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I know that they are trying to simplify things, but I feel like they probably oversimplified them. In my opinion, if a character is knocked down, that should be a significantly better chance to hit them than, say, being on the other side of him with a flank,
Sure.
that kind of stuff. So that's one of my opinions. Dalton says that he misses being able to prepare an action for a single action instead of 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree
good
with that.
point. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see that, right? It's more costly to prepare an action, but I think it's also a tactical decision. Personally, I kind of like it. I like
do
the
too.
fact that you can interrupt somebody else's action by preparing for it, right? By tactically deciding, okay, this is gonna be worth it. I'm gonna use 2 actions to do this one, but in a really critical moment.
They
Yeah,
also added a lot of really good reactions in this edition that I think have been
Mhm.
awesome. I think it really flavors out the flow of combat. I forgot what my other thing was.
Did you hold your
Oh,
finger
yes,
up?
I remember. I did have my finger up. So the one thing that I do miss about 1E is I feel like during character creation, you got more class buffs, if that makes sense. I feel like the more different like abilities that you got of your class flavored your character more. And now in 2E, a lot of the character creation is more general feats and skill feats. And those feel really repetitive. I hope that in future content they kind of fill that gap, because I miss feeling super roguey or a lot like a ranger, and instead I have all these skill feats to choose from. I feel
Yeah.
like it's less flavorful.
So my favorite thing about 2E, it's one of them is the one Jason already said. I love that op attacks are mostly gone. I think that it makes the encounters feel so much more legitimate, with people positioning around tactically and going into hit and moving back instead of everybody's going to stand under the giant creature and get squashed, so that they don't move away and then just get squashed. But from a DM standpoint, my favorite thing has been how much more flavorful the monsters have been. I feel like a lot of monsters in 1E were beat sticks or beat sticks with spells, and that was kind of it, aside from like the aesthetics of them and like an occasional ability here and there. I feel like they were a little bit repetitive, and I would often find myself adding more abilities to the monsters in 1E. But in this one, with the way they have unique reactions and the 3 action system and how they've utilized it with the monsters, I feel like every monster feels unique, and it feels like the monster that it is based on what it does. And that's been really cool for me. Missing from 1E, if I'm going to be completely honest, from a DM standpoint who ran a lot of 1E, and particularly a lot of late game 1E, I don't miss it. If I had to pick something, it would be the variety. But there is enough variety, and they've been releasing enough so far to the point where I haven't ever felt locked out of a concept I wanted to build. I'm super excited for the more options to come, but I know they are on their way. 1E was very complex, and the options were awesome, but as it got into late game, especially depending what kind of group you had, if you had a very elitist group that all did their homework and had stuff that was ready to go, it could go pretty smooth, but late game was so many numbers and so much adding, and combat could take so long. So I think they've done a really good job, and I was very concerned in the playtest of 2E because I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I was like, crap, I'm not going to be playing 2E. But then when they came out from it, they fixed all of my concerns, and I think it's been awesome.
I think I threw a straight up fit when I was wanting to build a ranger and I couldn't use a bow. They're like, you have to use a crossbow, and I was like, hell no.
Rangers were
this game.
Rangers were so bad in the playtest. They were so boring. So another question we got.
Wait, Katie's had her finger up for a long time.
Sorry.
Wait. I have a comment to M's skill feat one.
Okay.
I think as a balance, like I'm agreeing that yes, we need more skill feats. Absolutely. I think though that they brought in as a balance for now, the backstories that they've had more as a diving board. I mean, at least for me, like you don't have to follow the backstory to a T,
Mhm.
right? But I feel like by them bringing in the backstory piece of it, it's given me this diving board that I can then use to actually develop my character, and then kind of use bits and pieces of that backstory, like things that I really liked about it, to then go into my skill feats and choose my skill feats more at a character minded level instead of a what would I do.
I feel like
kind
they're
of level.
so bland right now.
They are, which is why I say diving point. Like I don't stick with the backgrounds like at all. Like Finley has
They're
the
inspiration
gambling.
only.
They are inspiration only, and it really is inspiration for me to start hearing my character
Mhm.
and then start taking feats based on flavor
Mhm.
and not actually what's useful. For me anyway, I found myself taking feats based off flavor instead of usefulness lately.
See, I actually used the backstory for a huge amount of what made Reikland himself. So it just depends on how you're using it. But
Yeah.
I also made a very deep backstory for him. So
I mean, yeah, and they made the backstories intentionally that way, so it's like you could either have they give you a little blurb and you can either completely build off of it, or you can go or background, you can go like more in depth with it, and it's not something that necessarily defines your character, but it really helps you kind of get into a role-playing standpoint instead of just I'm going to build this character purely for utility and I don't really want to get involved in the role play or the game. So
Side note, I would love to read everybody's background if they've written one, like backstory. Give it to me, please.
I've written half of it. I could tell the rest of it. But
Sounds good.
I
We'll
didn't write
talk.
more than like 2 sentences.
Nice.
I think a common theme I see here is that things they miss are kind of some of the elitist, very technical things from 1E. A lot of things people like from 2E are the simplifications. And I think what they've done such a good job of in this edition, and I'm not trying to compare these two systems because I don't want to start like a system war here, and it often does. But I mean, the big ones I think that were out there a lot was you had Pathfinder and you had D&D 5E. Those were kind of two of the big systems. And Pathfinder was so technical, and that was both its big selling point and it was its turn-away point for a lot of people. And then 5E was very simple, and it was very down to the basics, and that was also a big selling point and a big turn-away point. And 2E, I feel like, has kind of taken the best of both of them. I think they did a good job simplifying, but not too much to where I think some people miss some of the tactical stuff from 1E, but they give enough tactics to where I think they're still satisfied, and it's still simple enough to where I feel like the people who like a more simple system are satisfied. I think that's been awesome. So we have a question from Jason, which was, did the players pick races and classes? What were the guidelines, if so? So this is a behind the scenes question. I'll just go ahead and explain how this one worked. So we kind of just winged it this time. The decisions the players had, we got the crew together, and the first thing they decided was they decided on their guilds that they wanted. And are you guys okay if I reveal how this went down?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is this gonna kill you, Leek? Both of them actually
Sure.
wanted the Gold Bloods. There was
Dang it!
You just said that so
and
much.
this is the reason why they always harp on the Gold Bloods, right?
Maybe.
That was so simultaneous. So I actually had 5 guilds created, And they all had their own perks and whatnot, which will be rebalanced in a more interesting way next season. There was a lot that we had to kind of test with this season because it was a very different thing that we had out there. But the Gold Blood perk is pretty good. Extra coin on the payout is very appealing since the whole goal is to get more coin. We tried to balance it to where it wasn't too game swinging. The league, if people haven't seen the in between screens, is they get extra information on scouting, which has actually been really good. I personally think it's been a pretty
super
even
helpful.
trade-off.
Yeah, there were 2 scouting series that I remember distinctly where you decided to just not spend too much and you still got enough information.
Mhm.
So it saved you some coin.
Yeah.
Secrets.
But so they chose their guild, and I think we just did a roll off on who got dibs first if they wanted the same
You
guild.
did. That's what you ended up doing.
Yeah.
was, and then messaging and being like, "Hey, they chose this one. What do you guys want?" And there was
And we
definitely
all-
no uproar at all. We were rational people, and we were fine, and we were cool and collected, and we're cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I had everybody pick a primary and a secondary, and both the primaries were the Gold Bloods, secondary was League of the Hunt, and I think your guys' secondary was actually also League of the Hunt, if I remember correctly.
Gosh, I don't remember. I'd
Oh,
have to
man.
look it up.
Say
What was the dark one? The
Ooh.
Chaotic evil one.
The chaotic
Yes,
evil
I
one.
really wanted
looked
that one.
So powerful.
The Syndicate
but
of
it didn't,
Rights.
Yes, it didn't
Yes.
flow with the characters that we already had.
Well,
in
not
the
to spoil too much, but an idea that Chase has for season 2 sounds interesting.
Oh yes,
Some of the
it
guild
does.
choices.
Yeah, I'll talk
M
about
knows
it.
all the
You're going to
things.
talk about it?
I will talk about it.
You're going to talk about the next twist that you're going to do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll talk about it right now. It's a good segue. So what we're actually
don't
planning
know
on doing for season 2 is that instead of doing teams of 4, we're going to be doing teams of 2.
Oh yeah.
We're still going to have 8 players. The guild who wins this season is going to retire, and
We'll
I'm
miss
still-
the league.
I'm still tossing up on that. I'm tossing up if they're going to be involved in it, or if they're going to if I'm going to let the players pick freely between all 5 again. But basically what's going to happen is we will see 4 guilds next season. And when they draft, they're actually going to be drafting slots for the jobs instead of the jobs themselves, which means every session there is going to be 4 players still, but it will be 2 people from the different guilds. So the guilds will be mixing up every session in different ways.
I look forward to watching or playing a session where you've got some chaotic evil characters playing with a bunch of lawful good characters.
Righteous do-gooders.
Oh gosh.
It's going
Can
to
you
create some
imagine that
shenanigans.
you can't kill these people? We're gonna.
Nope. You
We're
got to
just gonna
cooperate,
do it.
right?
Yep. Yep, and they will have guidelines to not PvP. That will be worked out. But yes, that's what we got for season 2. Now for classes and races, we just kind of winged it, and it was kind of first come, first serve. And we didn't run into any problems really, except for Leshies had just come out, and everybody really wanted Leshies. So I had to put a hard stop on 2 Leshies because they're supposed to be an uncommon race, and I didn't want a guild of entirely Leshies.
They were so cute, and honestly, it should have just been an entire guild. I don't see a problem here. The league found a rock, and they're like, "Oh, we now have 4 Leshies, I guess."
Yep.
I
I
remember.
felt like there should have been an exception for the league, considering what they're about. That was my opinion.
Hunting
Yeah,
cute
it's
little
okay.
plant
Yeah,
people.
no, because the league would have gone out of their way to be like, "You guys are
Accommodating
animals."
to nature, shiznit.
Right. Where's M in my frame here?
And yet you didn't
Right.
have a druid.
He's right there. But yeah, so for the next season, I haven't decided yet. We might do something like a bid and a draft for. We're definitely going to do something for picking guilds, because with 4 guilds going out there, I don't want it to just be up to a dice roll. So I think we might do something like bid your starting wealth for the guild, and we might do something like that for classes and races. I'm still kind of
No.
tossing it up because some people I know, if they're going to participate, still have some awesome ideas, and so I'm going to toss up of like, well, is this going to cripple ideas, or should I just let people bid on it?
Alex is posting on here. Remember the Enchanted Forest? The Goldbloods stumbled upon 4 Leshies. Just saying.
It's true.
Guys,
That was me crushing the hopes and dreams of all the players that wanted to
I
play
would just be
Leshies.
devastated
That
if I
actually
couldn't be a
made-
cat.
Yeah, that was. Can we just give a round of applause to our DM for coming up with these awesome ideas?
Oh, yeah.
That's like really
Fun.
amazing.
Ah,
That's
shucks.
been awesome.
Amen. This is brilliant, honestly.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
We're gonna try and get him emotional. Come on, we gotta get him to cry on stream.
It's like
I don't cry. I'm a robot.
Oh.
Lily, are you aware that your husband's a robot?
Just leaving now.
She is. All right. So I think that covers that question. Let's see.
Yeah.
Did we have another one, or are we onto our backup questions here?
No, we got one just now. Are you going to allow the new dog race?
Dog race?
Can't remember the name. Shuni?
Is it
Question mark?
was that mentioned in the advanced players guide? I will be allowing anything in the advanced players guide if it's out in time. If it's on schedule, the advanced players guide should be out with enough time for people to use it to build characters.
I want it so bad.
And
I
that is
feel
going
like-
to include investigators, swashbucklers, witches,
Witches.
oracles, ASMRs, tieflings, catfolk, Shunies, Snoopies, maybe.
I feel like that needs to be explained. I need to know a dog. What?
But basically,
Snoopy.
I think 2E's done good enough balancing that if it is in one of the official Paizo releases, I will allow it.
There will be no humans.
No, there will not.
Yeah. Yep.
Unique.
That would be
humans,
awesome.
Humans always tend to be pretty popular because I think a lot of people are comfortable playing humans since
You do
Oh,
have
They
I'm
are
the
debatably
total
a human.
opposite. I'm having a really hard time playing a non-creature.
That's
So I
funny.
mean, we had 3, right? We had 1 in your group and 2 in ours. So
That's true. Yeah.
They're still around.
They're
Yep.
still around.
Yeah.
Mm.
They look like pugs.
Ew.
Pugs give me anxiety. When they
Ew.
can't
Yes.
breathe, I'm like,
No, only
So-
some of them look like pugs.
So do they take like a permanent minus to their stealth because they're like all the time?
they're debilitated to their con.
Yeah, it's like a
They just
minus
can't breathe
4
good.
though,
But-
actually. Instead
But their
of the regular
charisma when
-2.
trying to rally favor is a plus because they look so cute.
Oh,
and so
um,
pitiful, you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got. I should some of you this already, but there's what is that called? Where you can 3D print your characters.
Hero Forge.
Hero
Mhm.
Forge. I got one done of Faithie
Oh,
with her little crossbow
I love it.
That's
as a little
awesome.
commemorative. So she sits
Huh.
right here on my desk with my
Nice.
other character from Codex Cast.
That's awesome. I love Hero Forge. Not a
Pretty great.
sponsor.
They
I'll
should be
plug them
though.
because we love them. I hate
Wink,
myself.
wink.
Yeah, can you
Just-
can you be done? Can
we
you
push
just
on
turn
to
turn
the
the
next
camera
question.
off?
I'm starting to blush.
All right, let's see. We got questions from the cast that we talked about earlier, so let's see what we got. What is the most useless thing you think your guild has purchased? Something you thought was going to be useful and then just sat around in your inventory.
A scroll of ventriloquism.
Hold up, we bought that.
Yeah, we did buy that.
Kim's like, yeah, I just snuck that one in.
I look at it
So
in my inventory
It was a
every week.
thing.
I'm like, we still have that.
That's gonna be sold.
No?
I'm upset. I didn't know.
I'm pulling up my inventory.
I'm
sheet.
also pulling up my
Reiklin, I think you must have an answer to this. You have like a Mary Poppins bag of magical items.
Yes, I do.
Let's go.
Um,
What do you think?
Okay, so it's a toss up on this one. One of the items I actually bought knowing that I might not use it very much, but it was a role playing decision, and that was the wand that your team recovered and we bought off of you.
I was gonna
Oh.
say the wraps that Reichling made. I already had better ones,
Well,
but I needed that.
Sure, that was
Character wise, I needed it.
that was a bad decision on my part, but we can I don't know if we have time to dig into that one.
Okay,
But
that's fine.
but the wand, the reason why, the backstory of my character, he was rescued, so to speak, from a priest of Nethys, and the priest of Nethys had a greater version of that wand, and among his things, and he was young at the time. He was like in his 14-year-old kid who was a slave essentially to a lich lady, and in his getaway plan, he got to handle some of the magical items that this guy was touting around, and that's how he got sold, or that's how he got interested in becoming a priest of Nethys. And so, like, it was just one of the items that was in his in the guy's bag that he looked at and just fantasized over, and so he needed to have one. So, but the real the real item that was just probably not a good purchase, that only got used a couple times, is the crossbow. Reiklin has purchased several pieces of what's the ammunition called that you can put spell into?
Spell shot.
spell shot.
Spell.
Yeah, he's bought a couple of spell shots of level 1, level 2. He's got the crossbow, and he's only used that thing like twice. So it was kind of nice when he used it. The crossbow of climbing was nice to get an extra 50 foot of rope just from a little coral and shoot it where he needed to be. But
You're a little Samwise Gamgee.
yeah,
Mm.
well, that's how I always play my characters. I really like to play a Swiss Army knife character.
That's
That's
smart.
fun.
It is fun. Zapisto says scroll of floating disc, 2 of them, and Zariah says I have never
2
used
of
my
them.
slingshot.
I have 4 star knives.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
couldn't wear those in your hair to the party.
Mhm.
I was real mad about that.
I thought that they were like just like a throwing thing, but apparently they're like they go over like your whole hand. I don't understand it. And I was
So-
like, how am I toting 4 of these at all times? I'm just like wearing
have a
this
helmet.
armor. I don't know.
Yeah, Star Knights are
Shuriken is what you were thinking of.
That's what I was thinking of. Yes, something like little like a tuck away and
Yeah, Star Knife is like I think you hold it and it comes out on all the
yes,
points. So
it's big.
it's like it's like kind of a fist extension.
Yeah.
Regina was a person of few purchases, says Tane.
I'm gonna go opposite on it because I'm looking at my inventory and I've actually used everything in my inventory, and I'm also looking at the value, which is definitely not triple anyone else's value.
And she
This
wonders
is the
why
one with
she
the
does
fancy
so much
rapier.
damage.
But we bought a formula, a doubling ring formula,
Yeah.
which has been
Useful.
the best
The best.
decision that you could make. I'm like, tip
best.
for anyone playing a rogue, okay? First off, make sure that you can dual wield. Twin Feint, go for it every time. Because I'm clearly the expert on rogues now, so I'm just going to go off on this. So, Twin Feint for 1, but then get the doubling rings. It mirrors one weapon to the other weapon. So when when Finley's fighting, I only have to roll. I could roll the rapier twice because it's going to do the same effect on both weapons, essentially. And I think that was one of our major wins, especially for that fight where Lucy and Finley went to help Reiklin and Sapisto.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that was very clutch, and I think that without that, we would have been more. I think we still could have handled it for
So
sure. I think it would have been closer.
Are we moving into equipment musts then? Things that we really enjoyed?
Well, I'm just saying that was one that I
My
really didn't feel
crossbow.
useless.
Let's
We
do
did
it.
buy a bunch of formulas that we didn't use. On the other hand,
Let's do
Ton of
equipment
formulas.
musts. I will
Wait.
say doubling rings I think is a must purchase for anybody with that type of build.
Can I
There.
say one more thing for the nopes?
Yeah.
I think that I would do less formulas next time. There just wasn't enough time to craft. We bought so many formulas. Almost every formula that came on the market, we're like, we might want that. Let's buy it. And then it ended up not being useful to us at all because it cost the same amount as if we were going to just make it.
Yeah, right. Reiklin definitely realized that
buy it.
after a while. I think there's 2 reasons why crafting is not as useful for this particular campaign. The first and foremost is that you level up every single mission.
Mhm.
That's unique. That's very unique, right? Most other campaigns, you're not going to level up until probably 3 missions in. And so then you do have more time to need more things at that level, right? And that's why Reiklin thought, oh, this is, I'm totally going to craft the things that we need because, I love the limited, what do you call it?
Rotating market.
The rotating market. I love that. Like that was a good thing. I liked it. It meant that things that you found were a little more precious, and that was something that I enjoyed. But yeah, being a crafter with my character, I probably wouldn't do it again, just because I realized, well, shoot, if I'm spending more time trying to craft these things, then I'm actually losing money, and I'm losing, the opportunity. So if it's available in the market, I'll just buy it. So
Yeah, the only time crafting was like super good for us was for the doubling rings.
Mhm. And we spent 2 weeks on that one, right?
Yeah.
Which ended up being like
Like,
totally
really
worth
good.
it, and
Oh, yeah.
and a lot less gold, but I
But-
think you've got a point, Jason, on
Yeah.
You
Didn't
level
craft
up
much
so
else.
fast.
Yeah, that was the first reason. The second reason is just that downtime is a fixed amount. If downtime was like, say, every so often you had like 4 weeks, that
Yes.
would be the other reason why downtime would be useful and that crafting would be useful. But in a competition, that's a hard thing to really do, right?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
so those were two things that I did notice about this particular unique situation that I thought, okay, crafting's probably not as good. There were a couple of times though that Reichland crafted some level 2 scrolls, and they actually were very good to have. For a cleric, by the way, level 2s are so utility. Like that's where the good useful stuff is.
Yep. I will say that I do agree. Crafting didn't work out as good as I thought that a crafter was going to be like necessary to success when I kind of mapped this out. But yeah, I agree with your point. So I've actually been considering either house ruling something with crafting, or like you said, I might actually end up cutting downtime for just after job drafts and make it a large chunk of downtime. Those are a couple of things I'm thinking about for season 2.
What if you took the crafting feat? I'm just brainstorming here. What if you took the crafting feat? You could have an assistant that crafts for you all the time. They use your crafting skill.
Well, he
And-
kind of gave us a free crafting thing, right? Like whenever you get a talisman,
Mm-hmm.
technically you need to have the crafting skill to attach it. And
Oh.
every time I said, okay, I'm going
I
to roll
didn't
for
know
this, and
that.
he's like, oh, don't worry about that. He's like, your guild takes care of that, and that
Same
makes
with
sense.
same with
honestly.
moving runes.
Okay, that's cool.
And that makes sense. But yeah, usually like when you have an item, like say you're going through a dungeon and you find an item with some runes and you're like, ooh, I want these on my thing. Well, if we didn't have access to that, then that is where the crafter would be crucial.
Yep.
So it's definitely a decision that the GM needs to make and decide, okay, where does crafting fit in this particular thing? I think that the biggest deterrent for the crafting is just the fact that you're leveling every mission. And
Yep.
so everything that you craft almost becomes obsolete 2 missions later. So
True.
Yep.
I will say, learning curve wise, confession, I don't always read rule books.
Wait, what? No, like
I know.
And
I
that's-
know.
He's shocked 'cause,
like
like-
Chase and Em are especially shocked about this. Like,
The door is this way.
I know. Like 1E or I don't know other stuff. I was like, just tell me. Just tell me.
I'm kind of shocked.
I have read more of, 2E. Like I have the rule book. I have read a lot more of 2E and really studied up. But historically, very terrible at reading rules. It could almost be a guarantee that I wouldn't read them and just have someone fill me in. I will say leveling up every session. I've loved it only because I get to read and really take in. And I this is just me. I do better in learning in a short amount of time of leveling up, learning it, knowing what I need to know into that next job. So for me, that's been really fun, just having that different level every level, because it's actually made me read the rules more and understand what I'm doing.
Yeah, the leveling every level has been nice in that it speeds up the process of characters leveling up and fighting more dangerous things. So I think it was a good decision for this series.
Mhm.
I think that anybody who is looking to play second edition, I do not recommend leveling up every session.
No,
Like, it's
Erica, I'm so sorry. It
so-
was probably
I
so
struggled a
overwhelming
little
for
bit.
you.
Emma and Katie and Kim have been fantastic, being like, here's what you need. Here's a screenshot. And I'm like,
I think we have 3 different versions of cheat sheets.
yeah, we
I'm
did.
pretty sure we do.
We're getting pretty
I-
pro at them.
I
Yeah.
have at least 6 note documents. At least 6
Yeah.
for levels.
It's definitely in like a long-term campaign. It's funner to level up gradually and slowly. The
Yeah.
decision, and I balanced around this one a lot. I spent a lot of time when I was designing this thinking about how fast should people level up, how many sessions should there be, and it was about finding the balance of having the season be short enough to be able to keep people committed, because the players here have been awesome. And when you have a normal game, if you need to cancel, which anybody who's played with a role-playing group can attest, canceling happens a lot because it's really hard to get a group of adults together, But for this one, since we're trying to stream and be consistent, I needed to lock people down for a time frame, so I had to keep that short enough to where people could commit. And then I also wanted it to be, still kind of showcasing, 2E's leveling up system, because the abilities get more and more awesome. People are going to want to see that. I think it kept it interesting for competition wise, because things are changing up, and also because as of right now I'm working with one bestiary without, and this is, we started this, there wasn't even the game master's guide for like how to convert your creatures, how to build your own creatures, which I could have done, but when we did this, 2E was kind of new, and so homebrewing things was tough. I didn't want to accidentally murder everybody with things that were too difficult. So I also needed to make sure that we were leveling fast enough to where I had monster options. Because if I do 3 sessions of level 3, there's only so many monsters within that level range I can, build encounters with. So that's what went into it. I think we'll do it again next season as well, just because I think you guys have pulled it off, and I think it's been fun.
Yeah. I think it was well paced, forced me to learn a bit quicker, which, whatever. But like, I felt it was really well paced.
Yeah.
Yep. Jason asks, after the grand finale, is there a way we can get a look at the character builds? Absolutely. I would love to post those up. I will, if any of you want to share your backstories, I will post up somewhere, Discord, Facebook, multiple. But yeah.
I want to get one of those accounts that I showed you. What are they called? World Anvil accounts, where people can come and view and just have a bunch of stuff on it.
That'd be pretty sweet. I will find some way to get that information out for sure. I can show kind of a progression of what people took and whatnot and everything. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff happening. If you want an inefficient
build, sure, you can look at mine. I am not a good character builder. This could be an interesting discussion, but a lot of people who play role-playing games, if they're playing them with like combat and efficiency in mind and stuff, they'll usually plan ahead. They'll start by creating their character at level 12 or at level 15, and then they'll backtrack and see how to create that character. And I never do that. I hate it.
I would get so
I don't know someone who does that at all.
I know a good number of people who do that. Yes. it's actually how people power game. It's how you power game. Yes. And I don't like power gaming. Like, I like to play a character and have the character flesh out as I go. And a lot of times I will take weird skills and things like that along the way because of what my character's doing, not because it's going to be, the super efficient thing later on down the road.
And to speak to that, as somebody who builds out many levels and ahead, I will have it built out as a guideline to know where I want to go. And then if something weird happens where, you know what, I use this one skill a lot, I will change up my build to fit that and then rebuild out all my levels.
And I feel like building at that very high level is very much a thing that was done more in first edition. And I feel like at least with us beginning so early into second edition, there isn't as many paths that you can be like taking. Whereas first edition, you go back and you're like, oh, I'd like to eventually get to this feat. Oh, I need to take like 7 other feats. Like, for example, if you wanted to shoot someone in melee range, you had to take like 3 or 4 feats so you didn't get an attack of opportunity on you before you did that. And that was like planning ahead like 16 levels.
And I think they did have a quagmire of feats that were just absolutely requisite. Like, if you were playing an archer, these were the 4 that you had to get, and so you basically had your first 4 levels planned out for you. Yep. So I'm glad that they've moved away from that.
Me too.
Me too.
It's less cookie cutter, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Toby...
But they just made the cookie cover something different, which is skill feats. Sorry, continue.
They did, though. I will say that I have seen many different classes built, all very differently, and so I think they've done a good job. Reiklin is very different from Gordon. I have seen several rogues play. They've all been very different. You could see a lot of monks built. They would all be very different. I mean, Lucy, your initial concept for her, she ended up nothing like that. You ended up kind of swapping into the bow staff build.
Yep, that's true. I had like 8 builds of Lucy to start off with, though.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, at one point ours were almost identical.
Yep.
And flexible multi-classing helps a lot with that, I think, as well. Toby's asking the big questions. Can we hear everyone attempt to do their best impression of Wholesome?
I go last. I'm gonna go last.
I'll start the first one then. Okay. This is Wholesome doing his Rizeki.
Okay, so now you're going to put the blue butterfly inside of the cup, and now you need to drink it. Yes. No, drink the butterfly. Drink it. You just put your mouth all over it like this, and then lift it. No, don't lift it like that. Lift it like this. Like this. Okay, good. Okay. Do you feel the butterfly in your mouth yet? No? Shake it around a bit. Here you go. Yes, shake it around a bit.
Spot on.
Thanks.
I'll go next. Here we go, guys. Hi, I'm Wholesome. Nice to
Oh,
meet
gosh.
me.
People doing impressions of their own alter ego are hilarious.
I've got one. Nice and quick. I should put my glasses on because you have your glasses on. I'm gonna villain point that.
That's Erica's inner rage.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna villain point that.
Be still,
Be
my
still,
heart.
my
says
heart.
All right.
I got everybody to put on glasses for this.
I don't have my glasses.
Mine are just sitting right here. This is in regards to Em asking if she can do something. She can't. She can't.
But why? I have these logical reasons as to why I should be able to do that.
Yeah, but Emily, so if you look at the rules, okay, so this is what Paizo says. Okay, so they say that if you do this and this, it logically goes to this. So Emily, you can't do that, okay? 'Cause
But-
this is what Paizo says.
You can't expect a company to be able to predict every single possibility. There
Okay.
has to be
They're
some...
having a real argument.
Okay, hold on, Emily.
You did that perfect too, like that perfect angle.
Okay, so I checked the forum, and this is what they said, and this is why he can't do it.
Link it to me.
Okay, but I'm just
Sitting
saying
way
that
too
this
close to
is
home.
What do.
Oh,
Nobody challenges me like my wife in my role-playing
on
decisions.
that note, though, I would like to congratulate and thank Wholesome. One of the things that you learn as a GM is that your players are your storytellers, and saying no to a player is one way to kind of ruin the experience. And I've very rarely heard you say, no, you can't really do that. Like you are always willing to allow the players to try the things that they want to. And even if they are trying something that's a little far-fetched, you might bring it home a little bit and say, okay, maybe you try this or whatever. So I've been very impressed by that. You do a good job of that.
Oh, thank you. I do
still
strive
took
to
all the
be a
no.
yes GM, with the exception I still have to. You have to say no at times to keep the language the same between everybody.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Em just likes fighting with me because we're married. So
Oh, well, we still have 2 impressions that we haven't heard.
that's true. We do have 2 more.
Yep, we have
Yes,
2 more
sir.
impressions. Let's do it.
Well, I gotta lower my perception bonus here because that's the first step to being chased.
Oh, ouch.
Oh,
It's a lot of well, we'll just roll it. We'll just see how it goes. And that's a nat 20. Well, here we go. That's a lot of what it is.
that sounded like oh gosh, what's your character's name?
Gordon.
That sounded like Gordon making an impression of Chase.
Oh yeah.
That was
Making it-
twice the
it's
fun right
like
there.
Gordon playing Chase. Oh
I
gosh.
wish I had glasses, guys. I feel like I can't do it because I don't have mine right here.
Just
I don't
put
know
your
where they
just
are.
put your hands like
Yeah.
this.
Just
Am I
do this
defined
thing?
by my glasses?
I removed my
Can I do
glasses.
this?
Actually,
Actually, scissors.
Oh man, I don't know if I can do this.
Do it.
you've been with him
It
longer
feels,
than
it
anybody
feels-
else
It
here.
feels wrong though because we're married to do
I'll
it.
You do it
imitate
like
you.
every week,
No, it's
bro.
okay.
I'll imitate you. Come on, here we go. But why, Chase?
No, we can't do the same bit over again, Katie. Get out of here.
Oh, I can imitate you.
Uh, that was good. That was good.
I do
Don't do
cry
it,
when I
Chase.
laugh too much.
Try
I
your best to do
do.
it right now.
It's true. Yep. Glasses are gonna
There.
stay
I
on.
didn't go too far. I just left
Toby.
it right there.
Man, I thought you
was
were
a
gonna go
great
with your
one.
whole like.
I was
Emily."
originally gonna go.
Actually.
Hey, baby. Keep going.
Oh, thanks. I'm so suave.
Oh, gosh.
Oh
My cheeks
man.
hurt.
So, chat, I think we got time for one more question.
Oh.
If anybody has one, throw it out there. If not, we've got a backup question.
It could
And then
get-
we've got one little tiny role-playing thing to segue into next week's session.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, this is a surprise to all of us.
we're like, ah.
say what?
Jason's really good at doing that, by the way. He's really good at surprising the players.
Toby,
mean
In
give
the
us
worst
Wait.
way.
give
Wait,
us your
we're
stuff.
not going underwater? No, our guild leader is assassinated. Okay.
That was
Oh.
one of the best twists,
You-
honestly.
God.
Shocking.
One of his best lines is, "And is that with your bonuses?"
Yes!
You have to make
You
sure
don't
because,
have
like, when
any
there's
other bonuses.
You don't have anything else to add to that?
You don't have any.
That's
Okay.
a miss.
Okay.
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 Oh,
That's
one of my
code for your
favorite,
one-off.
though,
Your
Yeah.
one-off, yep.
Okay.
like what
Well,
is
that
it?
misses.
So
Toby
How do you do that?
says he has one more.
Do it, Toby.
Go for
throw it out,
Ask the
Toby.
question.
First come, first serve, my friend.
we're just silently gonna sit here waiting. Ooh.
If there is time, what bit of advice would you give to the person to your left in the stream video?
Crap. So
That's
are
I
we
have
gonna go
nobody to
off
my
what
left.
we see?
My left. or
Because I'm
your
thinking the left goes
So it'd
down.
be me to Jason. It would be Jason to Eric.
How about we just do like on our Zoom? We just
No,
So we
that
just-
would be
just
right.
cascade
It's-
So we just cascade it.
Cascade it. Person
Yeah.
below you and the person above you.
Person to the bottom
So, Chase,
left goes to the
you
person on the top
to
right.
Reiklin to Erica, Erica to me to Kim, Kim to Katie, Katie to Wholesome.
oh
That's not
okay.
fair.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Continue.
Advise me, Katie.
Advice.
I love how we all got into an argument about the logistics of how this works.
Okay, and I gotta
Wholesome,
think.
you start off.
My advice to Jason would be you keep playing those unideal builds because they are the most fun. If you min-max a character, you know, like, I mean, sometimes they can be fun if you play them right, but I think that it is always more fun to strictly build off of role playing. I think it makes it the easiest to role play, so keep with that.
Yeah, second edition, by the way, is a lot better for that too.
It is. Second
Um,
edition makes you at least competent if you...
Yeah, the proficiency system is really nice. Being able to play a character, and if you do make some bad decisions in what you committed to or whatever, you're still going to at least have some relevance. First edition was not like that.
No, it was not.
Can we do a compliment if we don't have advice for the person?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'm
So where are we going?
So Jason
who do
to Erica.
me to Erica. Okay, all right. Erica, hi. How's it going?
hi.
Hello. Advice? Goodness. Let's see.
I'm a newbie, so any advice for somebody who's new to this would be great.
I liked that you were bringing some extra elements to your character, especially the dark phase, with the drinking and stuff. But I was a little. I mean, I didn't know the reasonings, and a lot of times we don't know the reasonings why people do something with their character and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just. I think that it would be interesting if the events that you have your character do are the events that start that series. Does that make sense?
Oh, so
That
kind
way
of
it's-
not having a
it's more
pre-existing
apparent.
condition.
Yeah.
It's
well,
kind of
pre-existing conditions are fine, right? That's what makes a character, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, Reiklin's fear of water was just something that was there always, right?
yeah.
And just everybody just accepted that. But when you alter a character and when you start adding more to it and other layers, it makes a lot more sense to most other people, especially other players and that kind of stuff, if it's based off of events that they all helped experience with you. Does that make sense?
Ooh.
Because like if it's one of those things where one day your character's happy and that kind of stuff, and then the next one my character's really sad because his dog died. Wait, when did that happen? Oh, this was off screen.
Yeah.
Right? Like in movies, people they do that all the time, and people don't like it, right? People don't like major events
good
happening
point.
to change characters between episodes or between things. So try to build your character's persona off of the events that transpire in the adventure,
Ooh,
and
that's
that can make it a little more interesting, because then you start learning how to storytell your character, and you start to learn how would this character react to that. Well, they reacted to this previously, and so now they're changing in this way. Ooh, it'd be interesting if they take this the wrong way, and now they're starting to get really mad at this one character, and now the rest of the adventure,
yeah.
they're mad at this character all the time. It could be interesting.
That's
But-
that's really good, honestly. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
To- Toby threw some
Toby is
advice at
gonna make
Erica.
me cry. I
So-
saw that.
Erica, here's my advice. You're not a newbie anymore, so you have to ditch that title. You rocked it every episode I watched. Trust yourself and trust your role-playing decisions. Super true.
Mhm.
I think this means I've graduated.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to have some Wholesome give a commencement speech.
Can we just toss some dice up in the air and call it good?
I don't want to throw my heavy dice.
I have 1,000 D10s right here for some reason, for something M was doing at my
Oh my
computer.
gosh, just toss them.
I was playing Scion and it's okay.
All right,
Ah.
Erica, compliment her advice to M.
I really don't have advice for you because you're the one who teaches me. You're the one who gives me advice all the time. Like, this is embarrassing for me, but good for you. My character sheet was a living nightmare. and M can attest to that. Feats were all over the place. It just was not pretty. I was just kind of putting things where to put things. And you just took the time where you're just like, hey, so I took a look at your sheet and it's giving me a migraine essentially. And so you took the time to sit with me for what, like 2 hours? We went through all of the different stuff my character had, helped me not only like roleplay, but like in my mind roleplay how certain things were going to happen. So then I can picture it more, therefore roleplay it better. So like your willingness to do that for like 2 hours for little old me was just like, it was incredible, and I'm super grateful for you being like my little mentor.
Oh my gosh. It was literally my pleasure. I just wanted you to have fun, and I thought that would happen more if you like could envision it all smoothly without like, what does this mean again?
Right.
And I was like, let's do this. Let's
Yeah.
get her loving this character.
It was awesome, and I did, because right after that was the most recent session we had, and it was like I had really good times before, but this was honestly the best one.
Mhm.
Like even Wholesome messaged me after, was like, "You did great," and I'm just sitting there like, "Thanks."
You did great. That was you. You learned it all. All I
Yeah.
did was do organization.
Which
That was all
still
you.
was amazing. So thank you for answering all my questions and helping me to love it, because I do.
Good.
All right, M to Kim.
Kim. Oh man, what kind of advice can I give Kim? I think that Gordon is one of my favorite characters you've ever done. I love his like trembling fear persona so much. I think that Lucy has like kind of like a special respect for him in that way, where she's like, okay, I can't be too wild because Gordon is my check and balance. And I kind of would have liked it if Gordon had like flexed his gourd dick on her a little bit more about it. If that
What a
makes
graceful
sense.
way to put that.
That's the way me and Kim talk to each other. But like, just been like, you need to stop. And she would have been, oh, I need to stop now. I'm so sorry. I'm going too far. He's like her check and balance there. And yeah, I think that would have made some pretty fun RP situations. Like, you're going too far into danger. That would have been fun.
Yeah. I could agree. That would have been tons of fun.
Kim to Katie.
I'm gonna just note here. Is it fair for the little sister?
Absolutely.
this?
Yeah.
Get up and
Your
take your
time
This
has
is what
come,
it's for.
Katie.
You have been forced.
My suggestion to Katie: make a character with a good will save, bro.
Oh, snap.
I don't think you ever have.
Mention her health. Mention her health.
No, we don't have to do that.
Okay, but like even I
Stream.
noticed that. I was like, your health is
Did somebody
abysmal.
never
No.
put any points into your constitution?
No, so here's okay.
help me.
Backstory.
Pause. Backstory. I did a one shot with Chase and a couple other people, and I forgot to put the ancestry health into the character, so I shorted myself like 8 hit points.
And a character because it died.
If the character died, so it's not that I'm making low health characters. It was this one time that I forgot. It was one time.
No, it happened with other characters in the past. We don't want to talk about it.
Someone's calling you out.
Anyway, despite your lack of being able to make a will save and just live in general,
You
your characters were a lot of fun, and the very snappy roleplay that you do with Finley is a lot of fun to watch. And just seeing her try to roleplay out the whole not stealing when she is very obviously a rogue, and it is very obviously in her nature that she would like pickpocket wherever she could, was very good and just a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, make someone that can, live for 2 seconds, Katie.
I won't.
I picked
advice
one of
is
the general
noted.
feats in one of my weaknesses just to shore that up. So maybe consider that. Like I had a really low dexterity because it was not one of the better saves on my character, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to take a feat to up his dexterity save. Sometimes it's a good thing.
But hey, chat's had Finley's back and she hasn't died yet.
Ew,
true.
I'm still alive.
She's like, why go through all the trouble to save
That will
myself
not
from
always
this
be
when
there
the
for you.
crowds will save me instead?
She's like,
That-
see this
that-
face?
That right there is a rogue
Oh.
attitude.
That's
And I-
true.
Gotta save myself.
And I must say, Jason, your accent
Mm.
Really?
really
skip
good.
for Chase for a minute? I have had so much fun with you, Jason, doing the job bids. They've
Oh,
been
really?
fun. Oh, they've been so fun.
Watch.
They're really fun to do.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
So I'm
Appreciate
glad that Finley gets to at least interact with Reiklin on the Goldblood side on a fairly regular basis. That's
That was
I wasn't sure how much banter we were supposed to do with each other, so I minimized it. But
that
there
was-
were some times when I wanted Reiklin to make some jabs or even some flirtations with her, just a teaser. But I thought, no, we'll just
Wow.
That was
That was
a big point that actually made me decide to do the duos next season because I wanted to see more of the guilds interact like that. So I think it's
I
gonna be fun.
agree.
I think it's gonna be fun to pair them up, and I think it's gonna be a super fun format to play in because I mean it's hard. You always have a lot of people that want to play in role playing games, and it's hard to like pick and choose who you can play with. So I think it's gonna be fun to be able to kind of mix and match everybody back and forth.
So clarification, right? Like, so you are planning on having us pair up with one person, and then we're always with that person as that guild, right?
You will always be with your partner, and then you will be randomly with other duos throughout
other
the season.
duos. Okay.
Sweet.
All
Wait,
right.
I have my advice for Chase.
Yep,
though.
hit me with it, Katie. Tell me how I've
Come
wronged
on.
you.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Stop rolling so many nat 20s.
It's solid
For
It's,
advice.
the love
It is solid advice.
of all of the gods across
I'm-
Pathfinder, good and evil. Stop, please.
I made you a dice cage for a reason.
But also, thank you for making NPCs that have been really fun to interact with and being super interactive as a DM and making it fun and easy to come back every week to continue to play this game.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Can I
Thank you.
add on to that?
Yes.
We all give Chase a lot of shit because
All
it's
the
fun to
time.
do. But Chase is honestly, if I had to pick like top DMing experiences, best DM, best person, that's the person I look up to for DMing games. And honestly, if you're ever invited to play a game with him or play in a game run by him, it would be a mistake to not take part in that because it's going to be one of the best experiences you could ever have.
I agree.
Oh, you're gonna make me emotional.
Do it.
Not on
Come on,
stream.
keep throwing compliments. We gotta make him cry on stream.
Let's see if we can make him look redder than me on screen.
I have a washed out light for that.
I don't have a washed out light. That's why I look so
Oh.
red here. Look like an Oompa Loompa from the original
Oof.
Willy Wonka.
Uh,
Loompa.
I think that is my one thing that I kind of wish we could have done a little bit more was be involved a little bit more with the Goldbloods and vice versa, so I could get to know like Reiklin a little bit more as Faithy, and all the other characters. That would have been cool.
Yep. We got it planned for next season.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
chat, I think that's
Wait, you have to give your advice to Jason.
I did. I started.
Oh.
Yeah,
started
he
it.
Right,
started
my
it.
bad. I'm sorry.
Got him.
Sorry.
Those were great questions, chat. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. So this is what we've got planned for us this season. Next week we have a gauntlet of sorts, which is going to involve 2 from each guild. I will point out they have decided who's going to that. It is going to be Lucy and Gordon.
Oh no!
And it is going to be Sapisto and Zarias. So that means we will see Jason again, because what's going to happen is after this gauntlet session, there will be one session following that, which is going to be the blind auction.
Bid.
Yep, everybody's going to secretly donate anything else they want to try to get ahead at the end. And then after that, a winner will be declared, and then we will have a session or 2, we're hoping 2, of the final dungeon with the winning guild. So that does mean there is a chance we will not see Faithy again this season. There is a chance we will not see, well, we will see Finley and Jason at least during the blind draft.
Oh, so this is me.
Just you.
And honestly, we may also not see Regina again. So
Okay, we can grow together.
So we will see how that goes. So with that, I sent you players some of this offline, a bit about your scouting information, but Reiklin and Finley, you guys will be approached by Lady Shadara. Just kind of in the comments, she'll summon you both. Well, this competition has been very good. It's done great things for the guild. I'm glad to see that you're all still safe and alive, and I hope you've learned from the experiences.
Been a grand experience. Thank you very much, my lady.
Yes.
Now, we have a bit of an opportunity that came up. The competition was supposed to end, though we did have quite a wealthy investor offer a unique opportunity. There is a gentleman who has put together some sort of gauntlet of sorts. He's created it himself. It is full of challenges. He's offering to let 2 of each of you from your guilds attend this. It will be a competition of sorts. You'll be racing through this gauntlet. For each challenge the guild completes first, you will get some sort of expensive donation. I don't know if it'll be coin or items, but he's basically giving you a chance to earn a bit more coin to make the competition a bit more interesting. Spectators will be informed, sponsors will be notified of it, and they will be given the results of it. So hopefully it will create a little bit more buzz. And also, he's quite wealthy, so hopefully you will bring in more for the Alliance and more for yourselves during this competition. He did say there may be some dangers involved, but he will have healers on hand. So there should be no grand danger as far as we're aware.
As far as you're aware. So, just like a little death, not like a lot of death.
Well, I imagine some of the contraptions and the challenges will have a bit of danger to them.
How much do we know about this little fella? Sorry, I said little fella. I don't know if he's little, but...
Yeah, it's a fair point, though. He's got a lot of money. You keep reiterating that, which is great. But what do we know about him?
I'm having your scouts look into it, and they will send you that information. I do know he has been a big sponsor of this entire event. He has donated a lot of coin. His pockets are deep.
All right. Well,
I think
thank you.
it's a good opportunity.
Indeed. I'll discuss with my cohorts, and we'll get back to you on who will propose attends this particular gauntlet.
Yes,
Good.
as will I. We'll make a decision. Danger's our middle name.
Indeed. And following that, make sure you're preparing with your guilds of what you would like to donate for a final draft.
Of course.
There will be a glorious opportunity for some of you coming very quickly. I envy you.
Well, you could just come along with us.
If they would allow it, I would, but unfortunately only 4 are allowed to enter.
Very well, then.
Very good. All right, everybody. So that is our setup for the gauntlet. That's going to be next Tuesday, 6:30. Tune in. It's going to be very intense. It's going to be a big swing depending on how these guilds do. I would just like to thank, we had a lot of followers today. I don't know if any of them are still watching, but JC Coble, David Olveda, Joe Hammer, Adina Riot Girl Page. Thank you for the follows. The follows have just been off the charts. Thank you, everybody. We are 8 followers away from 500, which is just a huge milestone.
Wow.
What?
I know, it's crazy. We
Wow.
started this series just over 100, so thank you all so much for your support. It has been awesome, and that's why we're doing season 2, is because of you guys, and we've had so much fun. So that'll be all for us tonight, chat. We'll see you next week.
Be there, be square.
Yes.
But please be there because we don't want anyone to die, especially on the league side. So if you want to support the league, be there.
Come on. Nobody's gonna die.
I'm just taking precaution, Lucy.
You're all just a bunch of gold bloods at heart.
Oh, Reiklin.
I know this to be true.
That's not funny.
My great
Somehow.
Nethys has led me to believe that you have all wanted to be part of our league.
Oh,
Metagaming.
is that so?
He's the god of knowledge and duality.
How about Nethys can be quiet? Just
You
let him.
don't tell a deity to be quiet.
I mean,
believe me.
I think you could.
This is
Ooh,
why
It just is a
Tell
matter
her.
of if they'll listen or not.
Perhaps he should try.
I will. I'll talk to Callistria tonight.
Indeed.
All right, everybody. Awesome. We will see you all next week. They do speak truths. They will need the hero points. It's going to be very intense. And yeah, have a good night, everybody. Toby, thank you. You are all
night.
always welcome to join our table. Good night, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.